I first heard about Anthony Edwards, I think it was in 2020, when he was touted as the next great shooting guard who was entering college basketball. So I immediately went to YouTube and I typed in Anthony Edwards basketball. I wanted to see what this guy was all about, you know? But to be honest, I wasn't impressed with his highlights. This Anthony Edwards guy looked more like a doctor than a basketball player. This was the guy who was slated to be a top draft pick. He looked like a bust. But then I found out, and most people don't know this, so it's good that I'm here to tell you, there are actually two Anthony Edwardses. Yeah, it blew my mind too. They're different ages, different heights, they're even different races. The original Anthony Edwards is an actor who spent years on the NBC show ER. But the Anthony Edwards I want to talk about today is taking the superstar leap right in front of our eyes. And I think he has a legitimate shot to be the NBA's MVP. Welcome back to the Half Court Report. My name is Troy. Real quick, before we get into today's video, it would mean so much if you could click that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps in getting this video out in front of more people. So I would appreciate your support in growing the channel. So let's talk about Anthony Edwards, aka Ant, aka Ant-Man. Basically, any way you look at it, his first 3 years in the NBA have been very, very successful. Career averages of 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 35% from three. He was even named an All-Star last year. Those D-Wade comparisons I made before he was drafted are looking better and better. Check out that video. It's an oldie but a goodie. The problem is, though, that Anthony Edwards plays in a small market, Minnesota, and a lot of NBA fans don't understand how good Ant actually is. There's people out there who still see the Timberwolves as Karl Anthony Towns' team. Well, that's changing because Edwards has been playing for Team USA on their FIBA World Cup roster, and on a team of all-stars, he is standing out more than anyone. Edwards has been the best player on the court, which is something Golden State Warriors and Team USA coach Steve Kerr spoke openly about. After a recent game, Kerr said, "He's unquestionably the guy. You can see he knows it, and now the team knows it, and I think the fans see it. He genuinely believes he's the best player in the gym every single night." And Anthony is such a dynamic young player. I think he's taking a leap. So let me get this straight. Edwards was already a top 5 shooting guard in the NBA. Now the coach of the Warriors dynasty is using him as the go-to guy on a team of superstars. Add to that, Edwards is one of the most confident and charismatic players in the NBA. Things are lining up for him to have his best pro season yet. When you look at Ant's game, his physicality and elite quick burst athleticism means he has the chance to overwhelm even the most perfectly schemed defense. And sure, he has room for improvement to make as a shooter and in making the right decision all the time with the basketball. But this is a guy who's barely scratched the surface of who he could be. Even with all his flaws, he's an extremely effective player. That's why he's in a perfect situation playing for Team USA. Some of the biggest names in basketball history, and I'm talking about Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, they all used international play to vault themselves into another level of NBA superstardom. If Edwards can soak in some of that knowledge that's being dropped on him by his fellow players and a legendary coach like Steve Kerr, if he's able to do that and ride the individual momentum he picked up during this international play and maybe lead Team USA to a gold medal, Edwards can be the latest budding young NBA star to use a summer of international ball as a stepping stone to much bigger things. And the Minnesota Timberwolves are needing Ant's Team USA opportunity to pay off. The Timberwolves are not a free agent destination. And with the team throwing all their chips in and mortgaging their future on last year's Rudy Gobert trade, there are few remaining assets to continue adding pieces to the team. It's become obvious that Edwards reaching his max potential as a top 3 NBA player is Minnesota's only viable shot to being one of the top teams in the NBA. Ant has all of the intangibles needed to be great, and at just 22 years old, he is oozing with talent. And as I said, it's talent and leadership that he hasn't come close to harnessing yet. Pair those must-have traits with reports that he spends more time in the gym than he does outside of it, and it's apparent the Wolves have in Edwards what they've lacked since Kevin Garnett retired. And that's an MVP caliber superstar who is capable of transcending the less than great history and meh reputation that the Timberwolves have. Now it's up to Ant to take advantage. I think this upcoming NBA season is going to be the year of the Ant, okay? I see him averaging 27.2 points, 6.1 rebounds, 4.9 assists, and 38% from three. Anthony Edwards is about as skilled as it comes in the NBA. He's got high-flying athleticism, a crossover dribble that kills, an elite pull-up jump shot, plus he's got the strong frame at 6'4", 225 pounds, but the big thing that makes me certain Ant will take that next step is his drive and willingness to be great. You can tell Ant genuinely loves to play the game of basketball, and I think the greatest part about his game is how he rises in the playoffs. In 2022, he was fantastic, first against the Clippers in the play-in, and then in round one against the Grizzlies, where he helped give Memphis all that they could handle. This past season, he took it a step further. Against the Nuggets, he went ballistic in the series, averaging almost 32 points per game, and all the way challenging the eventual champions better than any other team could in the playoffs. Denver even talked about how tough Minnesota was to play against. Moral of the story, Anthony Edwards rises to the top when it counts most. Those inside NBA circles have been taking notice, and it's not going to be long before we talk about Anthony Edwards as an all-time great NBA guard. That's what I think, but be sure to tell me in the comments what you think. Since you've watched this far, be sure to drop a like for the YouTube algorithm. Click that subscribe button too so you never miss another NBA video. Is this the year where Anthony Edwards is going to make the leap? Does he have a legit shot to become the face of the NBA? You know, a lot of people thought it was going to be Zion Williamson, but there's been lots of stuff going on with him that's keeping him from realizing his full potential. Until now, because some new pictures have come out and Zion is looking unrecognizable. So it got me thinking, is this finally the year he proves all the haters wrong? I did a whole video on it. You got to check it out.